So those are just some of the, kind of easier, basic ways that we can do self-care. Now I'm going to get into how we actually pamper ourselves with the at-home spa day, if you will. So this is going to be great for those of you who have kids, little ones around, and it's just not realistic to take your kid to the spa and spend like $200 on that. Like, it's crazy, ridiculous. I did happen to grow up in an area where that was kind of common and people were strange. And once I left that bubble, I was like, oh, people don't live like this? People. So I really like to make sure that what we're talking about is accessible, and these are things that everybody can do. So I'm going to talk about stuff, and I hope that you have access to it because it's pretty common. If not, these are things that you can probably find in your grocery store next time. These aren't necessarily things that you have to go hunting for. So I hope you guys enjoy this because I had a lot of fun putting together a list for your at-home spa day. This could also be fun, you guys. Get a bunch of friends together. Do this instead of going out, maybe. Have a party at home, spa party. Hey, that'd be super fun. Obviously, some of the things you can't necessarily do as a group, like taking a bath, but you know how that goes, right? Okay, so starting off your at-home spa day, you can start off with spa water or hot herbal tea. So those of you who are doing the detox right now with the Lightworkers Lab know all about lemon water, and that is definitely a form of spa water. So spa water is really any water that has an added fruit or herb or vegetable technically. So you can add things like cucumber, super refreshing, lemon, always amazing, refreshing, and helps the body detox. You can add things like blackberry, mint, strawberry. Really, you guys, you can add any flavoring to your water, kind of kick it up a notch. And put it in some fancier glasses, make it a little special. Also, hot herbal tea. Use the things that you have and make it special. Put a little bit of honey in there, a little bit of extra love. Say a blessing over it. Make sure you're clearing that, putting beautiful energy in. A great way to feel relaxed and start your at-home spa day is with yoga. I know a lot of us have yoga mats, and if you don't have a yoga mat, no big deal. Go ahead, put a towel on the floor, put a blanket on the floor, get on the floor as is, doesn't really matter. You can pull up YouTube. Again, this is a really great resource to find different yogic experiences depending on your preference. I would recommend looking up something like yin yoga, which is a more restorative practice. You're typically going to be holding those positions for a little longer, and it's not going to be a fast flow like you would find in a vinyasa flow or a hatha flow class. So a yin yoga or a restorative yoga is really very helpful when you are doing those types of spa days. And I'm going to share a tip with you guys. Whenever I am in Chicago with my mother, inevitably I have to go to the gym with her because it's a thing. I don't know who it's a thing for because it's certainly not my thing, but if it makes her happy, I go. The thing that I enjoy most, besides the fact that there's a sauna, is the fact that they have these towels. Now, these towels are in a little refrigerator, and when you pull them out, they smell like eucalyptus. So I have decided to start making them at home because I have eucalyptus oil, and I accidentally bought a package of washcloths that I didn't realize I didn't need. So I took my extra washcloths, made a bowl of eucalyptus water with spring water, of course not tap water, and eucalyptus oil. And I put each towel in there, wrung it out, wrapped it up, and it's stored in the fridge. So every time I go to do yoga, I grab one of my fancy eucalyptus towels, and it's like I'm at the fancy gym. It's my little insider tip. Really, it's one of the only reasons I enjoy going to the gym. Another thing you can do with things you have at home, make it a little fancy. Wear a robe. A good way to fluff up an old robe is to use white vinegar in your washing machine. Probably about a cup would do. And then when you throw it in the dryer, add some tennis balls in there, and the tennis balls will help to soften it up as well. Make sure, you do some aromatherapy. So if you have an oil diffuser, get it going. If you don't have an oil diffuser, light a candle. If you're not in a place that you can actually have fire, you can always use a candle and an electric candle warmer. You can always, instead of a candle warmer, if you can't find one, you can use a glass reheater. You can plug a USB in and reheat your coffee or your tea on a little plate. So you can use that as well to get some scent going. Also, use what you have in your cabinet. I know a lot of us have herbs, we have spices, we have stuff left over from the holiday season. You can simmer water with cinnamon and cloves and orange peels and lemon peels. Those of you who are doing that detox, again, simmer those peels in water. Your house will smell fantastic. Again, different ways to use aromatherapy if you don't have an essential oil diffuser. Something that I try and do regularly is dry brushing too, you guys. When you are working on things that are detoxifying for the body, dry brushing is a great way to help the dead skin cells on your body move through, so you can have soft skin. And so when you're putting things onto your skin, it can penetrate in easier, and it doesn't have to fight through skin that is already dead. Next, we come to baths. And those of you who have heard me talk know that I love talking about different types of baths. I am a huge proponent of salt baths for one. Mainly because it helps me to clear my energy and it helps to detoxify the body. So I thought I would share with you what I do to prepare a detox bath. Salt baths specifically, because those are my favorite. I typically use about a cup of pink Himalayan sea salt, and this is something that I'm able to find at my grocery store. In the bulk food section, I'm able to find a fine ground of that, but I've also been able to find it at stores like Ross, TJ Maxx, you see discount stores, things like that. It's not something that you have to hunt high and low for. I've seen it at Big Lots. A lot of different discount stores carry it as well. So a pink Himalayan sea salt. The reason I enjoy a pink Himalayan sea salt is because it actually contains 84 trace elements. So when you're soaking in that bath, it's not only therapeutic, but it helps to replenish those trace elements in the body. Whereas Epsom salts chemically are made up of 2 different elements. So there's a much different chemical makeup in what you're soaking your body in, which of course, your skin is your largest organ of the body. So it's important to be conscientious of what we are putting on the body, and especially when we get into a bathtub, what we're soaking in. So like I said, pink Himalayan sea salt also mimics the properties of amniotic fluid. So it's very soft, it's very luxurious. it feels like cashmere. It's one of the best best baths I can explain. Typically, I use about a cup of the pink Himalayan sea salts along with about half a cup of baking soda. And the baking soda actually adds the power to, it's almost like a power wash for your aura. It makes it very bright and shiny. So it's kind of like my secret ingredient in there. Also, feel free to add whatever essential oils you are drawn to use at the time. It depends. Every single bath for me is different. Try not to take too many of these baths because, again, it can be taxing on the system. The body's not meant to do these things every single day. So I will do a bath probably 2, maybe 3 times a week max. Different types of baths you can do as well. One of my friends recently gave me a mustard bath, and this is a prepared package. And it's interesting. It doesn't smell like mustard. It smells more wintergreen, but it's based, again, in organic principles of helping move through energy through the body. A lot of these baths, when you get in, you're going to want to make it as hot as you can stand it. And again, everybody's going to be different. And don't get in if it's burning your skin, guys, right? Common sense. But it really as hot as you can stand it because you want to be able to sweat. You want to be able to move energy through your body. That's kind of the point of why you're in the bath. So mustard bath I found really effective in helping me sweat. And salt baths too, guys. If you're not using enough salt, you won't sweat. Because I've had clients who've said, oh, I put like a 1/4 cup of salt. No, you need a lot more. There's times that I have put even up to 2 cups of salt in there, you guys. A trick, if you're having trouble getting it to dissolve, is you can actually boil it in hot water on the stove first to get it to dissolve and add it in that way. I'll be real honest, I'm lazy. I don't have that level of foresight to go through that. So if you do, that's fantastic and probably what you should be doing, but I just throw stuff in. That's just me. You can also do things like a mud bath. Something that I really love since I found is the Aztec healing clay. So a lot of you guys may have heard of it. It's been around for a long time. I had a client when I brought it up said, I've had a jar of that since before you were born. And I don't doubt it. This stuff has been around forever. So it's bentonite healing clay, and the properties help to extract from the body. So of course, follow the directions with that. But these are different things you can do at home that once you have, aren't really expensive. I think when I bought the Aztec healing clay, it's a big tub. And I've only bought one. I haven't had to buy another one, and I use it for masks a lot, mud baths, like I said, and it's like $11 maybe. So super reasonable and something you can use again and again. Rose bath. This is a really, really great one. For those of you who are looking to connect with your inner goddess, your inner femininity, whatever that looks like for you, rose water is such an underlooked tool, and I think many people don't know this. One of my favorite things to do, this feels like a confession, one of my favorite things to do is actually to walk around grocery stores. And I know this sounds weird, but I really love food and I really love cooking, and I really love strange ingredients and seeing what other cultures use. So one of the tricks that I found is to walk around some of the Asian markets near me, because there's a lot of really big, nice ones, and see what kind of product they have. And I have found rose water. I've actually been able to find it at Walmart too. This is not a crazy uncommon thing. But rose essential oil can be very expensive. The proper, not the diluted one. So rose water is a really, really great substitute. Again, it's like $5 for a bottle. You can use it for to create face tone. You can use it for like a ton of different beauty stuff, but it, of course, because it is food grade, you can put it on your body. You can make things like bath bombs, you guys. I know those are like having a moment. I know Lush is a super big deal, as it should be, because they use whole products and actually make their own stuff. But you can make bath bombs at home. You can, it only takes a couple extra things to buy, typically like citric acid and a mold to make them in. But these are things that once you invest in, you can use over and over. So talked about a bunch of different bath things. And of course, a good old standby is a bubble bath. Like, how can you be sad or upset if you're taking a bubble bath? You guys, it's just impossible. So pick your bath, take the one that sounds good. And again, just because you pick one day doesn't mean you can't switch it up another day. And if you don't like baths, or you don't have a bath, because that's possible too, you can use a soaking tub, right? You can use one of those little tubs and put your feet in there and make, you know, a foot spa. That would be fantastic with some rose water, right? Soaking your feet, feeling the love. Totally. So more things that you guys probably have at home. Things like oils, because now we're going to talk about scrubs. So when we think about making DIY stuff, if you can eat it, it can go on your skin. So things like organic olive oil, organic grapeseed oil, organic coconut oil. Those are 3 oils that actually are used in beauty applications. When we talk about scrubs, it can be a couple different things, and depending on what you're looking to get out of it, right? So a sugar scrub is going to be really gentle. A sugar scrub is something you're going to want to use on your face, your lips probably, because if you're using a salt scrub, for example, that's going to be a little drying on the skin. Think about when you go into the ocean and come out, your skin's dry, your hair is dry. It's going to do the same thing. So you'll kind of get the hang of what feels good and what doesn't feel good. Another thing you can use too is ground coffee. That's actually a really great way to use different things that you have in the kitchen that are a little more coarse. And that's going to help you to give, that's actually a really good one for cellulite, because the caffeine helps to reduce cellulite and kind of wake up the skin. So that's a good thing for legs, thighs, you know, when we got that little extra jiggle going on. Good thing to help move energy as well. I've also made scrubs too, you guys. There's so many things that we have access to in our pantries that are so good for our skin. I've made a mint chocolate scrub. That was probably one of the more popular scrubs when I was making them regularly, was the mint chocolate one, because cocoa powder, actual cocoa, is anti-aging and is good for the skin. So that with a little bit of sugar, a little bit of coconut oil, a little bit of peppermint, fantastic. And of course, safe to use, and doesn't really matter if, you know, you get a little, doesn't, you know, necessarily taste great, but it smells really good. So with scrubs, again, you want to think about your carrier oil, what you're using as the scrub. So sugar is going to be really fine. Salt is kind of medium. And then coffee is a really coarse. So things that may need a little freshening up, like we said, the lips, the face, elbows a lot of times need a little bit of love, knees, the whole body. It's good for the whole body because it helps bring, it helps the energy move, it helps the dead skin cells flush off the body, and it allows what you're doing to take hold faster. Another fun thing to make too. So Paula says she can't use cinnamon on your skin. And so that's really important. Know your triggers, know what you can and can't use. It's really important to have that awareness. So always do a little bit of a patch test, either right here or on the back of your neck, just to make sure that you're not allergic to something before you put it on your skin, if it's something that you are not using regularly. So myself, I don't know if you guys remember, I'm allergic to nuts. So I can't use things that have like sweet almond oil in it, right? A lot of people use that as a typical carrier oil in beauty products. So I know that that's not something that works for me. If you're allergic, like Paula's saying, different spices, know that that's not going to work. And cinnamon too, those properties are almost slightly inflammatory. I know there's a lot of, what's the word I want to use? Like lip glosses that have like plumping effects, right? To make your lips a little bigger, that have cinnamon oil, because it's almost, it makes them bigger and not in a good way, if that makes sense. Almost like what's the word I want to use? Like a bite, like a bug bite almost, I don't know. Pamela asks, what kind of scrub could you use on your feet? A good softener type. So depending on your calluses, right, I would probably say a combination of a sugar and a salt scrub. Because think about a sugar scrub, if you've used one in the past, the sugar is going to dissolve. So it's good for the gentle parts, but you also want something that's going to keep going and keep exfoliating. So the salt has a longer capacity to do so. Again, coffee may as well be something that's a little more coarse, again, depending on just how, like if your heels are cracked and stuff, you know, you want to be careful with what you're putting on there and make sure that it's soothing to you, and again, not inflammatory, like cinnamon maybe, right? Yes, thank you, Monica, inflammatory. Sometimes when you have information coming at all angles, it's a little hard to hear at times. So you guys keep asking questions too if you have questions about things that I'm bringing up, because I want to make sure that you're finding things that you enjoy. That's our goal for today. That's what we're talking about. So now I want to talk about masks. You can do things like masks for your hair, conditioning masks. You can do face masks. That's a super big thing. If y'all have Instagram, there are masks up and down, left and right. They are everywhere. So I want to talk about a couple different types of masks that you can do with things you, again, probably already have. And if you don't have them, it's not going to be that expensive to pick them up next time you're at the grocery store. So honey is a really big one. It's probably one of the best things that we can use for our face. It has been used since Cleopatra, at least. I mean, this is something that has been in use for years and years and years and years and years. So when we think about it, it's naturally antibacterial, helps to prevent and fight acne, purifies skins, unclogs your pores, and it's a humectant moisturizer. So it actually draws moisture into the skin, leaving it feeling soft. So you can straight up put honey on your face. And when I'm talking honey, I'm talking raw, unpasteurized. Manuka honey is probably the best honey that you can find. I found it at Trader Joe's. They have it for about $12. You can find it online, of course, but again, Manuka honey is going to be among the best for your health and for your skin. So this is, again, something that you can use in your home and on your face. So there's different types of masks, as we all know, and I'm sure we've seen different articles, and I'm not going to sit here and give you specifics, but if there's something that you like, ask me and I can give you details, or I can help point you in the right direction. But again, if you look up DIY honey face mask, you're going to find probably 20 different blogs that have lists of their favorite ones. And these are going to be mixed with things maybe like avocado. That's a really great moisturizer. Cinnamon. So Paula says cinnamon doesn't work for her. So we already know that's not going to be good for Paula. But cinnamon, lemon, aloe. Aloe too, guys, is one of those things that I just kind of have on hand in the house. If you don't have an aloe plant, which is a really great thing to have in your home if you have access to that, just grab a bottle, keep it in the pantry. Oatmeal is another thing. You can grind up oats, for example, in a coffee grinder, and use oats as the exfoliant, again, instead of, like we were just talking about, the salt or the sugar. There are masks that you can make that use egg. So egg white specifically, because it is tightening on the skin. So when you're doing these different things, it's anti-wrinkle, anti-aging with the egg whites. So think about science, guys. Science is working to to replicate nature, essentially, and to make the things in nature better. But when it comes down to it, nature's doing just fine as it is. We are getting these things directly from the source. So our body knows exactly what to do with it and exactly how to process it. Avocado, like we talked about, guys, really moisturizing. That is a little on the expensive side, right? So I don't necessarily expect you to like mash up an avocado, but you will see if you feel like looking it up, avocado hair masks, again, because it is moisturizing. Face masks, because again, it has a really high fat content. So for the same reason we love eating it, it's good for our skin. Again, I talked about the Aztec clay, and that is a mud mask. Technically, you mix a little bit of apple cider vinegar or water, and you can actually feel it sucking stuff out of your pores. You can feel your face pulsating with energy. It's crazy. I don't really have another way to describe it. But it's fun. It's a fun one, guys. You can also make sheet masks with rice paper. So rice paper, again, is one of those things that you can find in an Asian market, and you can find them in a lot of regular markets too. All you have to do is soak it in whatever you would like to essentially soak on your face. So green tea is a great thing. Rose water. There's even orange water too, guys. These things that are used in different countries, we can use in so many different applications. I've actually found eucalyptus oil in the Asian market, and it was so inexpensive in the beauty products. It was like a big old bottle, and it was like $5. I was like, score, totally taking that. So look for things in new and expected places, and you're definitely bound to find a lot. And so like I kind of talked about at the beginning too, massages are really important. If you can't regularly get to a massage, you can always look up things on YouTube, like a trigger point self-massage. So again, using your hands, you know, work through. When's the last time you actually massaged your hands? When's the last time you actually connected with your body in that fashion, right? Just taking the time, massaging your feet, just connecting with your body in a new way. A lot of us sometimes forget that we have all of this different space in our body because we don't use it. It's not at the top of our mind. So check in with your body, give it some love. I've heard of using things like tennis balls. Again, if you have tennis balls lying around your house, using those under your feet to stretch out your feet, using a tennis ball up against a wall to stretch out knots in your back. So these are things that you probably have around your house. I saw something about a rolling pin. That sounds a little weird to me, if I'm being honest. But like, I guess if you're like covered and have a spare rolling pin, right? Why not? Foam rolling too is really big right now, you guys. So another really great technique that you can use to help stretch out your muscles. And you guys, if you're getting super duper into all of this DIY stuff, with a little extra, you can actually make your own lotion. So you would need cocoa butter and beeswax. And these are things that I've actually ordered from Amazon before, so I have these at home because I like to make different lotions, potions. There's times that I like to pour my own candles if I'm in a mood and I know something specific needs to go in there. So these are things that you can have around the house for just a few extra dollars that allow you to kind of move through different luxury experiences.